The Florida Gators just might add to their 2026 recruiting class today with defensive lineman Valdin Sone announcing his commitment.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever the podcast and on YouTube. Happy Friday. I'm Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all of my written record New York Giants on SI. Today's episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year with Monarch Money. And like I mentioned, today might be a day where the Florida Gators add to their 2026 recruiting class because defensive lineman Valdin Sone is announcing his commitment today. And we'll talk about the potential spots in a couple minutes. But 6'3", 6'4", depending on where you look, depending on how he's listed on Rivals has him as 6'3.5", 320 pounds from Sweden. So from Sweden, he is an international player. He is with Brandon Collier and PPI, which PPI is it allows international athletes to come play football in college. They do, I don't know everything about him. I will say, though, that this wouldn't be the first Florida Gator from PPI, and that they get a lot of kids to college, and I'm for that. But he's also a little bit of an interesting one because while he is an international player from Sweden, he's also playing high school football in Virginia. So he's playing stateside, similar to Onis Konenbani, who, if I'm not mistaken, is also with PPI. And Onis Konenbani, England, played in South Carolina. So not really a big, a unique situation in that regard, but just wanted to throw that out there because I know that we're going to get like international complaints every single time that there's a kid that Florida's recruiting or targeting from somewhere else. It's a complaint we get every time. No matter what the ranking is, we're going to get the complaint. But Valdin Sone is a 4-star everywhere. On Rivals, he is the 172nd ranked player nationally, 16th defensive lineman, 4th player in the state of Virginia, which, by the way, Virginia also has there's a couple of Gators from Virginia and from that general DMV area, which the DMV area is that area. But Tank Hawkins is initially from there. Fletcher Westfall is from, I forgot the name of the town, but his high school was Tuscarora, Leesburg. And so there's a couple guys from Virginia on the roster already, which again, Valdin Sone is from Sweden, but having someone who you went to high school in Virginia that could at least somewhat maybe relate to other people on the roster should you join the roster. But on 24/7, he's the 46th ranked player nationally, 4th defensive lineman, 3rd player in Virginia. On ESPN, he is unranked nationally, 27th defensive lineman, 9th in Virginia. A large discrepancy there, right? One side has him as 46th nationally, one side has him as 172nd nationally, and one side has him unranked nationally. One side has him as the 4th best defensive lineman in the country, one has him as the 16th, one has him as the 27th. He is a long-term 3-tech that has a ton of potential as a pass rusher, a lot of pop, or a lot of power, I'll say. Some pretty strong athletic traits. I think he needs a lot of work, though. I'm not disputing any of the rankings or anything like that. Again, like I've said this before, and Florida has said this before. We're looking for draft picks. And we're not looking for great college football players. We're looking for draft picks. And that goes kind of along with what I've been saying about how Florida's approaching things of saying, hey, we're going to take the long, athletic, aggressive players and develop them and make them good. And that's kind of a similar approach. Like I've said, they're doing it how NFL teams do it. We want a long corner that's a great athlete with fluid hips and can make a play on the ball. We want an edge rusher that has a twitched up first step, long arms. We want offensive linemen that are, taller is ideal, but at least have long arms, pretty fluid athletes, really aggressive. And we will figure out the rest. And I think Valdin Sone is another one of those players where it's like, well, we're looking at a guy that can be a long-term developmental piece there and hopefully become a good impact player. And now about this actual recruitment itself. So Valdin Sone is committing today between Auburn, Florida, Georgia, and Nebraska in alphabetical order. And this recruitment has been insane to follow, okay? Because for so long, and this is just one of those recruitments where it's like it was so quiet where no one really knows what's going on. And I think even now a lot of people are just now kind of figuring things out. But for so long, this recruitment was so quiet. It was because you wouldn't hear about visits. You wouldn't hear about which team is leading. You wouldn't hear about this. And part of that is because of the international base. Like he doesn't have real, I guess, continental ties. So it's not like, we've got local reporters that are getting insight or people who have known him since he was a kid getting insight with other schools. Like that's not really been a thing. And so I think that's one of the things that made it very difficult to track this recruitment. That's part of it. Second, it's just quiet, right? And so it was quiet for so long. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, like he's on Nebraska. He's on Nebraska's campus today. He's on Florida's campus today. He's at Georgia today. Like it just happened where he was like, yep, I'm at these schools. I'm at these schools. I'm at these schools. He wasn't necessarily like, oh yeah, I've got this visit scheduled. It's just, hey, I'm showing up when I'm showing up. And that's it. We weren't really told about these things beforehand. It was just wild. And this recruitment is also wild because all 4 of these schools have had confidence in this recruitment at one point or another, right? I believe that the first school I remember hearing about was Auburn. Not surprisingly, right? Auburn defensive linemen, like they do a good job of recruiting defensive line. I'm not going to take that from them. But so it's Auburn at one point felt really confident. When he took his visit to Florida, I know that there were people that were like, oh, he's on campus. He might be able to make this happen. And I don't really think that was actually the case. I think that some people might have, and I mean, even like people internally, I think some people internally might have even thought that they could land the commitment when he was on campus. I'm not saying that definitively. I'm purely speculating here. Based on what I've had people tell me is, and people that are at least moderately connected, being like, oh, well, I think it might happen. And I never really bought it just because there wasn't much traction. And I try not to buy into commitments without traction. I feel like that opens yourself up to kind of being like, I feel like that opens yourself up to just being let down and also landing a commit with no traction. Kind of feel like those are the more likely flip candidates. So Florida felt, or publicly, Florida felt like that might be the spot at one point. But again, wasn't really buying it. Again, it's just not a thing that I really buy into, like out of nowhere that it might happen. And also I think that part of that hype was around, well, this recruitment's really quiet. And so he's got to be moving a certain way. And so if he's on campus, that means he might be ready to pop. And I don't think that was the case at all. Not saying that Florida was never close to making it happen, but I don't buy into it as much as many people do. In recent month or so, Georgia has picked up a lot of traction with this recruitment. Makes sense, right? Defensive lineman. Georgia's always a good spot for that. Kirby Smart's there. Like yeah, it makes a ton of sense, right? I think he commits to Georgia today. I don't know if he winds up at Georgia long term, but I think he commits to Georgia today. Especially because I'm not saying this definitively. This is also me speculating. I think that NIL is going to play a factor here. And Georgia just lost James Johnson on the defensive line. They lost linebacker Atkinson as well. Both to Texas, both in NIL battles. I think Georgia's going to not feel desperate, but kind of feel like, all right, we got to apply a little bit more pressure there. And so that might be it. But I think that Georgia is going to be the spot today. I don't think Florida will back down. I don't think Auburn will back down. I don't think Nebraska will back down. But I do think that Georgia is going to be the spot that lands the commitment today. When we get back with Locked On Gators, Chris Gordy of Locked On SEC was at SEC Media Days. And he got a sit-down interview with DJ Lagway coming up next on Locked On Gators. You ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It is a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, all of your investments, and all of your spending in one place. So, in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year.
Right along here from SEC Media Days, and a pleasure to be sitting down now with the pride of Willis, Texas, right outside Houston, Texas. He is DJ Lagway, Florida quarterback. What's going on, man?
Oh, man, nothing much. Just, having fun here at SEC Media Day.
It looks like you're really enjoying this. It's like
it's great. Yeah, it's great.
It's interesting, man. I like to kind of ask some of the guys coming off your true freshman season in the SEC. What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself, your game, whatever, last year?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing I've learned is just not taking things for granted, just enjoying being out there with your guys, because once the season's over with, the whole roster flips, you got a whole new team, you got to build those relationships. So just really enjoying everything about the team aspect, and just having fun.
You come into your true sophomore year as QB1. How much has the offense expanded for you now that everyone knows you're the guy? Because I got to think last year might have been a little limited playbook as the backup, but now that you're the man, it feels like they can maybe open this thing up, right?
No, it's been great, just having year two in the same offense, knowing where all my players are at this year, and now learning the defense, knowing the coverages, knowing where they're at, and just putting it all together. So it's going to be fun.
Was that the case, though? Was it a little bit more simplistic for you coming in, or did they throw you in the deep end last year?
No, they threw me in the deep end and with no life jacket. So it was great, though. I had to learn how to swim, and having Graham around, it was great to have. Graham Mertz, he's actually on the Texans right now, so he's doing great. I talked to him the other day. But, just having him around and having his leadership and his professionalism around me was great.
Really helped, I'm sure, like an extra coach there.
Sure.
Was Coach Napier, I've heard this about his playbook, that it's very complicated. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely NFL pro-style offense, and it's been great, though, helping me learn this type of offense. So once I get to the NFL, God willing, that I'll be able to transition pretty quickly.
A lot of new weapons around you. You're bringing J. Michael Sturdivant from UCLA. Of course, Dallas Wilson captured all the headlines of the spring game. You get Trey Wilson back. You got Aiden Mizell. I mean, this wide receiver room, you got weapons. You got no excuses.
For sure.
Talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys, man. And, what I love about them, they're athletic. They're going to make plays, but their work ethic is matched none to nothing. They work extremely hard. They give it their all every day. They get jugs after practice, and that work ethic and that consistency is going to pay off.
Talk about you. There was some rumors out there, shoulder, maybe something there, but everything I've heard, you've been throwing the last couple weeks. Everything's all good, right?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm just ready to go out there and compete with the guys, man. That's all I'm excited for, is just go out there and have fun and compete.
some good running backs as well. Of course, Jaden Baugh was so good for you guys last year. You got Jacoby Jackson, Trayon Webb. Got to have a good run game to balance it out.
For sure.
Those guys are pretty solid.
Most definitely, really solid. It's great to have those guys, having Jaden Baugh, and Jacoby Jackson, go off of each other, and the way they've been getting better at protection, learning different things. It's been great having that cohesiveness.
I got to think it helps to have the best center in college football, right?
Definitely. Definitely helps.
What's that relationship like with Jake?
Yeah, me and Jake have a great relationship, just talking ball, even off the field, But having him as a leader and as a person in the building is great for everybody. He's a great team guy. So, yeah.
There's a little intimate relationship there. A guy you're putting your hands under his butt every day. I mean, it's you got to have that quarterback center relationship.
Most yes, sir, for sure.
It's very interesting. What's been Coach Napier's message this offseason? Because obviously the school put out that message towards the end of last year when you guys started getting on the hot streak and said, hey, Coach Napier's not going anywhere. Just let everybody know he's here and all this. So what's been his message this offseason?
Just kind of continue to stack days. Being a present, being in the moment. What he says a lot is one-day contract. So being able to stay in the moment, stay consistent, and give every day your all, and don't look into the past and don't look into the future, and just staying in the moment.
Yeah, I got to imagine you really have to take this thing game by game, or week by week, day by day, because it'll overwhelm you if not. How about defensively? There's so many guys back from last year, either returning starters or guys that are ready to step into that next role. But what have you seen from the defense?
Yeah, man, I think we got a really good group of guys on that defensive side. Starting with the D-line, you got Tyreek Sapp, you got Caleb Banks, two guys that were huge impacts for us last year. And, we got some young guys like Makai Burrow, that can learn from those guys, And our linebacker group is so young, but also so good. Like, we got Miles Graham, Aaron Childs, we got Pup Howard. We got a lot of good. We got Jaden Robinson. We got a lot of good guys that are learning and are getting better. So I'm excited for these guys, man, to continue to get better and work. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's. And down the stretch last year, you guys played that suffocating defense against LSU, against Ole Miss, against Florida State, and it really, it was less work you had to do on offense because they're flying around out there.
Most definitely, and that's what you like for the offensive side. We always joke with each other, and be like, all we need is one stop, and they'd be like, all we need is one touchdown. So that's kind of like how we talk to each other and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good.
I saw down there earlier you were signing autographs for everybody, taking pictures with everybody that hung around. I mean, that's. You're enjoying living in the limelight a little bit now, but also doing the things to kind of give back as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's always about one interaction, people will never remember what you say. It's just how you make them feel, and I always want to make people feel important because everybody is, nobody's bigger than anybody, everybody's equal. And that's my biggest thing.
You make us feel important joining us here.
Man,
what was there an encounter with an athlete when you were growing up that kind of did that for you?
Yeah, I'd say definitely with RG3. Kind of growing up and meeting him. It was always huge. He's like a mentor to me now. And having him in my corner is huge.
That's very cool. So he'll reach out and kind of talk and you'll share kind of advice and that's
most definitely. Yes, sir. It's been great.
That's awesome. That's a great resource to have. What was your relationship like? You mentioned a little bit with Graham Mertz earlier, but it's kind of funny. You're from Willis, right outside Houston, and Graham Mertz ends up in Houston. So are you giving him like food tips on where to eat and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for sure. It's just funny though, like how he knows he said he swung by Willis the other day and stuff like that. It's just funny to kind of see how a full circle moment, so it's cool.
Yeah, it sticks too. I mean, look, you certainly wanted your turn and he was playing pretty well, and then the injury happens, but everything happens for a reason, and who knows? Maybe that's exactly what you needed in your career to help set your trajectory, and now he's in a great spot in the NFL.
Yes, sir. God doesn't make any mistakes, so yeah.
Talking with DJ Lagway here. When you're not playing football, what are you doing?
When I'm not playing football, I'm mostly just relaxing, at the house. Probably playing a video game a little bit, or just chilling with my girlfriend. Okay. That's about it. I'm not too much. I'm not a lot
partier, crazy guy.
I just chill. I'm relaxed.
What video game are you playing?
I'm playing EA right now.
EA.
Yeah.
Okay.
College football.
What did they rate you?
My rate, I think it's a 90, maybe. Yeah, 90.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah, it's solid.
For your small sample size, that's strong.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, I kind of figured. Yeah, that was kind of my guess, 90.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it's funny when I ask guys that, the majority of them always go, "Oh, I'm too low." But that's
I'm realistic here. So it's good. It's a room to grow.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
I first met you. I guess it was over a year ago at the Texas Bowl, where they honored you, where you were Mr. Football.
Yes, sir. Something like that. Yeah.
The best player in the state of Texas, whatever it was. But your dad was always around you.
Yeah.
What's that relationship been like with Dad, and how's he been kind of that emotional support system?
Yeah,
for you?
sure. It's great. Definitely during the time of me not starting, he helped me a lot. Just telling me just to be patient, and just helping me stay the course. And because he's been through a lot of stuff like that, him being a college athlete, playing at Baylor and stuff, so he understands it all. So, yeah.
I'm sure all along the path of you trying to choose a school and all this, that that's a great sounding board to talk about that. What ultimately landed, what made you want to choose Florida? What made it the special place?
I'd say just Coach Napier. Coach Napier and the fan base is tremendous. The way Coach Napier develops quarterbacks is huge, and the way they do things, and the fan base, the way they showed love to me right away. So, yeah.
When you ran out for the first time in that loud stadium, the swamp is rocking. Did you even have to take a step back and go, whoa, this is real?
Oh, man, it was crazy. It was a surreal moment, stepping in the swamp. Man, it was something you could never dream of, and being able to do that is a blessing.
Have you learned Tom Petty yet?
Oh, yeah, I can sing it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you definitely, that song right there gives you the goosebumps when you put it on.
Game day, you're walking out, going through warm-ups. What's on the playlist?
I listen to a lot of Rod Wave,
Okay.
That's what I listen to mostly, kind of give me in that mind, kind of give me in that vibe, and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So no like hard rock.
Nah, I'm a mellow type guy.
Okay.
I don't like to get too high. I just kind of stay even keel.
Because if you get the adrenaline pumping too early,
you die out quick. So, yeah.
I love that. Do you have a favorite moment from last year?
Yeah, my favorite moment from last year, I'd say after the Ole Miss game, that's like the whole element and the whole vibe of the whole stadium and the players interacting with the stadium. It was just a lot. It was an amazing moment.
Y'all ruined their season. Knocked them out of the playoff. Yeah. What was the toughest stadium you played in last year?
Toughest stadium I played in was definitely in Knoxville, Tennessee. That was a crazy environment, and I'm excited to play those guys again.
That's what makes the SEC great, though, is these fun, rocking atmospheres that you get to go in. It's a challenge, but it's what makes it fun.
For sure.
All right, last thing for you, talking to DJ Lagway. We've been asking everybody this all week, so don't spend too much time thinking about it, but whatever comes off the top of your head. Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time, I would say The Longest Yard.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
The Adam Sandler one?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So our morning show host in Houston, Sean Salisbury, coached Adam Sandler on how to throw a football. Yeah. Sean played at USC, played in the NFL, and all that. Yeah. So Houstonian guy, but and he's crazy. In the movie too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then he got a role in Benchwarmers too. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay, you got to watch Benchwarmers.
No, I have watched Benchwarmers. I'm sorry, I didn't know he was in it. Though.
Yeah, he's in that one. So
it's crazy.
We'll check that out. But all right, Longest Yard's a good answer. I asked you that because I asked. Who was it? Anthony Richardson a couple years ago.
Okay.
I said, "What's your favorite movie of all time?" He said, "Venom."
Venom?
I was like, Anthony, of all time? So that's why we're asking everybody what their favorite movie. That's a good answer, though. That's a top 5 answer. I'll give you.
For sure.
All right. What are you looking forward to most about this season as we get rocking here?
Just getting ready to get out there and compete against somebody else.
You wish the opener was tomorrow, huh?
Oh yeah, I wish it was today. Let's go put some pads on. Let's get me excited just being here.
I love it. Real quick before on the way out, have you gotten a chance to go back to Willis this offseason and see everybody?
Yeah, I have. Yes, sir. I've been down there. It's just great to see. It's growing so fast. You know, and they're building like crazy out there. But it's a blessing.
They retire your jersey yet?
Oh, man, not yet. I ain't do too much yet, but hopefully,
He is DJ Lagway. DJ, thanks so much for the time.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Nice again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. And thank you again to Chris Gordy of Locked On SEC for sitting down with DJ Lagway and allowing us to have that interview here on Locked On Gators available there. So thank you. We will be back maybe later if Valdin Sone commits to Florida, which I don't anticipate, but we will be back at the absolute latest on Monday. Okay. And I will tell you all this now. Next week, if there's breaking news, I will not be available to cover it. We're doing all 4 wisdom teeth out. I told you guys that, we were waiting for their big recruitment waves to pass. They've passed. And so next week, all 4 wisdom teeth out, and then stuff happens, right? For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with New York Giants on SI, and I'll see you all next time.